Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and yeah, we have the new car pass update in the game, which is going to be stretching from the 28th of April all the way up to the 16th of June. So that means 8 cars over the course of 8 weeks, and yeah, the majority of which I am really looking forward to. So yeah, let's take a look at them. So firstly, we're going to have the Ford F-150 SVT Lightning. Now, I remember a Top Gear review of this from like 2004, 2005, where Jeremy Clarkson pretty much slated this car. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what this is going to be like to drive in this game. But yeah, plenty of horsepower, plenty of torque from a 5.4 litre supercharged V8, which is a similar engine to what was used in the Ford GT, the 2005 version. But it does weigh a lot at 4,670 pounds, and yeah, the stats are brilliant. The launch is pretty weak, and yeah, the acceleration could definitely be better for something with all that power and torque, but it's going to be fun to drive regardless, and yeah, it's a new car to the Forza series. Then we have the Forsberg Racing Nissan Safari's 370Z Safari Rally Tribute from 2014. This is a car I'm not really that interested in, to be honest. It's yeah, it's purely just for, you know, going off-road, really. That's really all there is to it. It's got a decent amount of horsepower, but not a massive amount, considering the 370Z in stock form didn't even have all that much. So yeah, but I imagine it'll be fun to go off-roading in, and yeah, it'll definitely well, it should hopefully do well in extreme off-road silly bills. So yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be good in that regard. But yeah, it is definitely my least favourite car that I'm looking forward to out of these 8 cars. Then we have the Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro to go along with the 4Runner and the what's it called? The Tundra TRD Pro that we've had in the previous month or so. And yeah, unlike those cars though, this has a fairly decent amount of power, 278 horsepower, 265 pound-feet of torque. Though I was led to believe in the Forza stream that this would have around 370, so I think they got their numbers mixed up, which is why I was expecting this to be a little bit more powerful. But yeah, it should at least be faster than the 4Runner, which I feel is a little bit on the slow side. But yeah, as you can see, this is purely about the off-road capability. 8.8 in stock form is pretty damn formidable, and yeah, no doubt be a good car in that regard as well, just like the Tundra and the 4Runner were. Then we have another new car to the series, the Dodge Magnum SRT8. Now this is a rarity from American cars to have a station wagon, or a wagon as they call it, or an estate, or even if you're going to go down Audi's route and call it a van. But yeah, whatever you're going to call it, it is a yeah, a formidable looking car, really. And it's got all of the space in the world that you want, but it's got V8 rear wheel drive muscle car power, and it's got a huge amount of torque as well to go along with that horsepower. And yeah, really looking forward to driving this. The Magnum is something that we did have in the UK, but we only really got low horsepower diesels or petrol engines. Didn't get anything anywhere close to this kind of power. So yeah, really looking forward to driving it, to be honest. And yeah, the stats are decent. Handling and braking is pretty good for a car from America that isn't the most sophisticated vehicle in the world, and the top speed is fairly decent as well. Launch is a bit worrisome, but you know, that only really affects you off the line. Rest of it doesn't really matter. And yeah, the next 4 we have the BMW M8 Competition Coupe. Now this looks pretty damn good, to be honest. It's right before BMW started to ruin their cars with their awful looking grills. And yeah, 617 horsepower from a 4.4 litre twin turbocharged V8, all-wheel drive. Decent amount of weight to it, but being a BMW, it's definitely going to shift, and as you can see, it's going to handle that weight really well with its brakes, and handling the stats being pretty damn good. And the launch is obviously great with the all-wheel drive. The acceleration is going to be off the line, is going to be great, and right through the rev range as well by the looks of things. Top speed isn't that great considering it's 617 horsepower, but I'm sure it'll still be able to outmatch plenty of the competition. And for the first time in a while, I feel, outside of maybe the Audi TT RS, we're getting a brace of new Audis. But this, I think this RS3 is the newest Audi that we've had on the game, or in the Forza series for a long time. And yeah, really looking forward to driving this, because it's using the same kind of engine out of the Audi TT RS, but it's in a saloon. So yeah, it's got the sporty styling of a saloon with the practicality, but it's, yeah, weighs a decent amount, but nowhere near as much as say as that M8, and yeah, still got all-wheel drive, still got nearly 400 horsepower, and yeah, it should handle pretty well as well. So yeah, that's probably my least favourite outside of the other cars. It's above the Nissan, but that's probably the second least favourite out of the bunch because you know, smaller Audis aren't as exciting as the bigger Audis, like this RS5 for instance, which yeah, really looking forward to it. Although concerningly, the braking is only a little bit more, and so is the handling, to be honest, than the well, the handling is actually worse than the RS3. So maybe it'll be a bit lumpant in terms of, you know, handling and braking in terms of drivability, but launch, acceleration and top speed should be great, and yeah, 444 horsepower and 443 pounds-feet of torque should be pretty decent. But it's, yeah, it's not the kind of V8 powered car that we're used to from Audi coupes. Pretty sure it's a V6, so it might sound good, but it won't sound as good as older RS5s with their naturally aspirated V8s, but still, should be fun enough to drive, and I yeah, definitely prefer the look of it to the RS3. But then again, coupes generally are better looking than their saloon counterparts. And finally, definitely one of the ones I'm looking forward to driving, even though it's easily the slowest of the bunch. It's the Volkswagen Pickup LX. Don't really know anything about this, to be honest, but I am looking forward to driving it, being a fan of, you know, the Subaru Brat, for instance, and even though this doesn't have all-wheel drive and doesn't have quite the kind of power of some other pickups that you'd expect, it looks like it's going to be a fun car to drive, and yeah, definitely in terms of modifying as well. And 52 horsepower, 72 pounds-feet of torque in something that's only 1.6 inline 4 from, you know, 1982 isn't half bad. But yeah, I think it would have been hilarious if they did a GTI version of this, because no doubt it is based on the same platform as the Golf. But yeah, still only weighs 2,174 pounds, and yeah, even though the acceleration is hardly great, the handling and the braking are perfectly decent for a car of this type and power, and yeah, surprisingly good off-road capability for a front-wheel drive car. So yeah, really looking forward to this next lot of cars. Yeah, I'm not overly bowled over by the RS3, some regards of the RS5, even though I do love the look of it, and that Nissan, but the Ford F-150, the Tacoma, the Magnum, the M8, and that Volkswagen alone are really exciting. So yeah, and maybe the Audis and the Nissan will really surprise me. Who knows? I'm just judging them by their stats and what I know of the cars in real life. So yeah, hopefully they will exceed my expectations in all regards, all of the cars, because at the end of the day I have paid for this. So yeah, this takes up the car pass up to 31 cars, meaning we only will have 3 more to go in the car pass after the Volkswagen. So yeah, that will take us up to beginning of July. So yeah, but whatever they put in, I hope it's going to be they're going to be great cars, because overall this car pass has been stellar, quite frankly. There's very few that I have hated, to be honest. I'm not going to say I hate the Nissan yet because I haven't driven it, but yeah, out of the cars that we've had so far, the only ones I've really hated have been the Ferrari Corsa Cliente, purely because it's just a racing car, and the FXXK Evo, purely because it's just a more aerodynamic version of the FXXK, and that's pretty much it, to be honest. Yeah, the J50 and the Monza are basically they're based on the same kind of platform, but they do something different at least, and yeah, and even though the Huracan is basically the you know, the slightly more powerful, slightly lighter version of the standard Huracan, it's still a really good car. So yeah, overall this car pass has been stellar, and I'm not going to say that they're my top cars right now, because who knows what those last 3 cars are going to be like and what those cars that have been announced are going to be like. But yeah, definitely what the cars that have been my favourite so far have been the Renault 8 Gordini, the Mercury Cyclone, the Jaguar XJ13, the Mazda 323 GTR, definitely the MG X-Power SVR, the car I never dreamed would get in a Forza game, the Ford Mustang SVO, the Tundra. Yeah, this is the one that has the most power. Don't know why the Tacoma had a fair decent amount of power as well. The Noble M400, definitely the Oldsmobile Tornado, the Mini John Cooper Works, Porsche 911 Speedster, and yeah, I am hopeful that at least half of these next 8 will be good as well. So yeah, if you still haven't got the car pass, then I don't know what's keeping you from getting it. Maybe you just want to see all of the cars in the car pass, but which I can understand. But yeah, definitely a great lineup so far, and definitely one of the strongest car passes that we've had on the Forza series so far as well. But nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.